Hi, I'm Julie with San Diego Voice and Accent, and in this video, you'll learn about vowel syncope. Vowel syncope what? I know, the word syncope is a little unusual, but here's what it means. Vowel syncope is when a sound or syllable is deleted from the middle of a word. The spelling will show that there should be another sound there, but that sound does not occur in the pronunciation. If you've been studying English for a while now, you probably know by now that American English likes to change the vowels in a word, and especially the unstressed vowels in a word. Unstressed vowels are usually reduced to a sound that is faster to say. In the case of vowel syncope, the unstressed vowel is deleted completely. I've already discussed a few common words in American English that have vowel syncope in their pronunciations. For example, the words aspirin, average, comfortable, and vegetables all have syllables that aren't typically pronounced. I won't review the pronunciation of these words since I've done it already in prior videos. So if you want more help pronouncing these words, I recommend you watch the earlier videos in the series called Difficult Words to Pronounce in English. In this video, I want to show you more American English words that have vowel syncope in their pronunciation. And here's the annoying thing about vowel syncope. Sometimes you must follow the vowel syncope pronunciation. Everyone deletes that syllable, so you need to as well. And other times, well, it can go either way. I'll point out when the pronunciation is a must, and when it's maybe not required, but it's the way that most native speakers will pronounce that word. I'll start with a common word, chocolate. This one probably isn't a surprise for many of you. But if you look at the spelling of this word, it looks like there should be 3 syllables. Chocolate. But there isn't. The middle vowel has been dropped, and it's just 2 syllables. Chocolate. This one is a requirement. I've never heard anyone pronounce this word as chocolate. So you should pronounce it as 2 syllables. Chocolate. Here's the word chocolate up close and in slow motion. The lips push away for the CH sound. Then the jaw drops for the ah vowel, and the back of the tongue comes up for the K sound. The tongue tip comes up for the light L, then drops for the I vowel. Then the tip comes up to the alveolar ridge for the final T sound. Next is another common word, favorite. Let's do a little more research on this word. First, we'll look at the IPA transcription on the Cambridge Dictionary website. The first few transcriptions show 3 syllables, favorite. And you have to scroll to the very bottom to see the 2-syllable transcription, favorite. So both are shown on this website. Now let's look at forvo.com. How do native speakers pronounce it on this website?
Favorite.
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 Out of 5 recordings, 3 said it as 2 syllables, favorite, and 2 said it as 3 syllables, favorite. Now I'm even more confused. Which one is it? There's one more website we'll go to, youglish.com. Let's hear how native speakers use this word within the context of a conversation.
I'll share with you my favorite poem, Chief.
During stress, but my favorite effect on the body is
who said that his favorite song out of his repertoire.
My favorite way to reveal I speak the language, though.
Now, my favorite example of color
was a physician writer, one of my favorite writers.
And one of my favorite things
was picked.
Quote from presumably two of his favorite historical figures.
Resulted in my favorite TechCrunch headline of all.
Things like, what's your favorite color?
Of the first 10 speakers, they all said favorite as 2 syllables. Favorite. I agree. I think favorite as 2 syllables is the more common pronunciation, especially when you use this word in a sentence or conversation. It's not a requirement, but most people will pronounce it as favorite. Here is the word favorite in slow motion. The bottom lip comes up to touch the upper front teeth for the F sound. Then the jaw opens for the A diphthong, and the bottom lip comes up to the upper teeth again for the V sound. Then you move right into the last syllable, which begins with the R consonant. The lips round for the R, and the tongue pulls back. Then you move into the I vowel and end on a T sound. Next is another common word, interested. This word actually has 2 types of pronunciation changes that can happen. First, we'll look at the syllable structure. If you look at the spelling, it looks like there should be 4 syllables in this word. Interested. Interested. But the more common pronunciation is interested as 3 syllables. Interested. This isn't a requirement. Sometimes native speakers will pronounce this word as 4 syllables, as in, I'm interested in learning more. But I think it's much more common to say interested in 3 syllables. Interested. I'm interested in learning more. Here is the second pronunciation change that can occur with this word. Sometimes when the letters N and T are next to each other and the T begins a weak syllable, like in interested, native speakers might drop the T sound completely and say interested. Interested. The first T is gone. Interested. But what happened to the syllable count when I used that pronunciation? Interested. The syllables went up to 4. Again, the more common pronunciation is interested as 3 syllables, and that first T sound is pronounced. But I wanted to share the other pronunciation with you, just in case you hear it in your studies. Let's see the word interested up close and in slow motion. The first sound is the I vowel, which is a lax vowel, so the lips are relaxed and neutral. The tongue tip comes up for the N sound, while the lips round for the TR cluster. Then the lips relax again for the I vowel, and the tongue tip comes up for the ST cluster. Then the lips relax one more time for the I vowel, and the tongue tip comes up to the alveolar ridge for the D consonant. The next word is difference. I just pronounced this word as 2 syllables. Difference, difference. But the spelling makes it seem like there should be another syllable in the middle. Difference. Difference. Cambridge Dictionary transcribes difference as having 3 syllables in its first transcription, and later on shows it as 2 syllables. Confusing. Let's quickly go to youglish.com to see how native speakers pronounce difference in a conversation.
And that will make all the difference.
And they are making a difference by shared best practice.
A lot of the times that ends up being the difference maker.
There's a big difference between wanting approval
and international norms will in fact make a difference. And
so the difference of the cost of funds and the...
What was the difference between the 2 men?
That's true. I think they have made an astonishing difference to cancer patients.
And it's already starting to make a big difference.
That difference between success and mastery.
Of the first 10 speakers, all of them pronounced it as 2 syllables, difference. And I agree, this is the more common pronunciation. Difference. It's not a requirement. You may, on occasion, hear a native speaker pronounce this word as 3 syllables. Difference. But the much more common pronunciation is difference, as 2 syllables. The tongue tip is up at the alveolar ridge for the initial D consonant. Then the tongue moves down for the I vowel, and the top teeth touch the bottom lip for the F consonant. The lips round as you move directly to the R consonant. Then the lips relax for the I vowel. The tongue tip comes up for the N consonant and moves directly into the final S sound. The final word we'll discuss today is the word separate. This word can be both an adjective and a verb. I'll use it in a sentence. Here's the adjective. The manager lives in a separate building. I pronounced the adjective as 2 syllables, separate. Here's the verb. You need to separate them into 2 groups. I pronounced the verb as 3 syllables, separate. Let's focus on the adjective pronunciation since that is the one that can have vowel syncope. Let's first look at the Cambridge Dictionary website. It shows separate as 3 syllables in its transcription of the adjective form. Then at the very bottom, it shows it as 2 syllables, but with a small schwa sound between them. That's confusing. So let's listen on youglish.com. How do native speakers pronounce this word in a conversation? Separate or separate?
We used to think we were separate from the other animals, and then we realized
immediately negotiating a separate.
For solitude, the ability to be separate, to gather.
Available as separate talks also on our website.
So we folded up the company and all went our separate ways, and now
it keeps you feeling separate.
That we're 3 separate independent branches.
In separate rooms over kind of,
although they kept separate apartments and studios.
And converts everything that's on the table into a separate object.
Of the first 10 speakers who used separate as an adjective, they all pronounced it as 2 syllables, separate. And I would say this one is a requirement. You should pronounce the adjective form of separate as 2 syllables, and the verb form of separate as 3 syllables. This word begins with the S consonant. Then the jaw opens for the E vowel. The lips close for the P sound, then round for the R consonant. The lips relax for the I vowel, then the tongue tip comes up to the alveolar ridge for the final T sound. I hope this video helped you to learn more about vowel syncope in American English. Thanks for watching, and let me know how I can help you with your English pronunciation.